Hello there, my name is Starkiller and this video is going to be about my thoughts of Destiny 2's latest expansion, Renegades, aka the Star Wars expansion. I'll have a timestamp in the description below about when my actual thoughts of this expansion begin because I felt like it was important to explain my relationship with Destiny 2 as I haven't put much content on this channel about it. I do play the game though, but yeah, most of you probably won't know. So if you want to hear my honest thoughts about Renegades, then jump to the timestamp in the description below. But yeah, Destiny 2, this game, to me, it's not one of the best, but it's one that I always occasionally come back to. I don't have much content of Destiny 2 up on this channel, save for the Final Shape Avengers Endgame mashup that I did, which, fun fact, actually is one of my favourite videos I've ever made, and it will probably stay that way. But yeah, even though I haven't put much content up on the channel about it, apart from say a few videos and shorts, it is a game that I occasionally play. It's not one that I'm very addicted to and like have to grind every single day though. I've pretty much played most of the expansions, say for a few in Destiny 1. I've played everything in Destiny 2 except for Edge of Fate because I just felt like there was nothing there, and like Final Shape was like a good jumping off point for me because I played through the entirety of the Light and Darkness saga. My opinions of most of Destiny 2 is pretty much the same as everyone else's, stuff like Witch Queen, Final Shape were great expansions, glad I played them. Everything else was just meh, and all the drama I don't want to go into. My thoughts are the same as everyone else's basically. So yeah, as I said, Final Shape, I kind of jumped off Destiny 2 at that point because I felt like it was a good end and I was actually very satisfied with that expansion, so I did jump off it. I did take a look at Edge of Fate through like YouTube videos and like other playthroughs of it. Kind of glad that I didn't pick it up because there just wasn't anything in there for me. But of course, now we are at Renegades with, it being completely the Star Wars expansion, with them partnered with Lucasfilms and all that. And of course, this being a Star Wars channel, I just kind of felt like I have to jump back in and see what I missed or see what else is going on in Destiny 2, and if this expansion is worth it, and yeah, if this new story is actually fun, and if the game is any good now, I guess. So the stuff that I'm kind of looking for in this expansion, just to let you guys know that, because I'm not like a hardcore Destiny 2 player, I'm also kind of like a solo player as well. So most of Destiny 2 I've pretty much played all the solo content, so like all the campaigns, strikes, a couple dungeons that I could do solo, but that's pretty much it. I haven't been able to do any of the raids because I don't have any friends who play this game, and just like searching with Guardians online and them only wanting experienced players just kind of didn't work for me, so I still haven't played any like big multiplayer stuff like the raids. Crucible, I'm not really a multiplayer guy, so I just avoid the PvP stuff completely. So yeah, that's the type of Destiny 2 player I am. Casual, solo, Guardian type player. So I will be judging Renegades based upon like its campaign, story, its gameplay for all the solo stuff that I can do, and yeah. So I think that's a good segue to tell you guys about my thoughts about Renegades. So I'll quickly give my non-spoiler thoughts, as I think that I'm going to have to go into spoilers to help explain a lot of the stuff that I thought about. So yeah, there will be spoilers in this video, but for those of you who want non-spoilers and wish to play Renegades, my thoughts are, I think it's good. Not great, but good enough. Definitely better than the majority of Destiny's expansions, which I don't know if that's saying much or not. I don't think it's on the same par as stuff like Witch Queen or Final Shape, but it is good. I definitely still recommend it. We have to remember as well that these things do have less content because they've changed the format, and it is a little bit cheaper than what the standard Destiny 2 expansion was, a little bit. So I think it's worth it. Just about, honestly, just. I wouldn't say it's great, but still fun nonetheless. I had some good fun playing this, and I was quite shocked by some of the stuff that they did. Not too much where it was like jaw-dropping, but still I was pleasantly surprised. So yeah, those are my non-spoiler thoughts. So now I'm going to have to go into spoilers to help explain the rest of it, of what I thought about Renegades. I think my main concern when I heard about this Star Wars expansion was that is it going to be too much like Star Wars? Like, am I just going to be seeing Star Wars instead of Destiny, if that makes sense? I didn't want it to be Star Wars. It could be inspired by, and I'm pretty sure a lot of it has been already, but I didn't want this just to be Star Wars. I still wanted this to be Destiny and fit in the world of Destiny, if that makes sense. I think that was my main concern when I heard about this. Stuff like the armor sets, like, we see the Darth Vader, the Stormtrooper Mandalorian armor sets when they were coming out, and I was like, oh, I'm not sure, this is going to be turning into Star Wars, isn't it? And while this is heavily inspired by Star Wars, particularly in New Hope, there are some other Star Wars bits into it, like a lot. It actually still feels like Destiny 2, and I really liked that. I liked their own play of Star Wars, like inspiring Star Wars stuff. For example, the fight between Dredgen Bale and Arnold Mahal, yep, that's the one. I thought their fight was really good. Not just because it was a good cutscene and had some good action. It is very much inspired as a Jedi v Sith fight, this cutscene, and obviously the Force does not exist in Destiny, and thank God it still doesn't. Honestly, that would have been a turn off for me. But they used the light and darkness abilities in the fight, and I just thought it was like a cool concept of like using their Destiny style powers, not the Force, if that makes sense. So I really liked stuff like that. Their own interpretation of like the Jedi and Sith in this. Like, obviously they were very heavily inspired by them, but they got creative, and I really liked their way of showing it. And it was a pretty cool fight nonetheless. We didn't see anything like this in like Edge of Fate, so yeah, good cutscene. In fact, the whole opening mission was really good, a very strong opener. I was quite hooked from this cutscene and the whole mission. It was quite a tough mission as well, just because I was playing solo and whatnot and trying to figure out all the new enemies and everything. So yeah, I really enjoyed everything from the first mission. It's a good strong opener. Another spin that I really liked was their version of the Death Star, their super weapon that they had. I did not want this thing to destroy planets because that's just another thing. I was like, I didn't want this to be just Star Wars. But again, they spun the super weapon as their own thing. Nightfall basically doesn't destroy planets, it just targets an area and kills every single light bearer and ghost in it. And I thought that was a very unique style of super weapon, because like we already had many super weapons in Destiny, like the bloody Almighty. Does anybody remember that from the vanilla game? So we've already had like planet killing or world ending super weapons. So I thought that the Nightfall was a unique way of being a super weapon that we haven't actually I don't know if we've seen much of it, but like we've seen ways that Guardians can die and whatnot. So, but yeah, like their version of the Death Star, I like the way that they spun it, so that it's not just a planet killer, if that makes sense. So yeah, I like how creative they got with what they could be inspired by from Star Wars, if that makes sense. I think that was one of the positives in this expansion. So yeah. In fact, one of my favorite parts, or at least the part that stuck out to me, was after the Nightfall attack, where we actually go back down to Tharsis Station and just see all the death that it brought and interacting with everything and trying to find some survivors. Even seeing that ghost who we talked to for a little bit at the beginning is gone. That was just like, we don't get stuff like that often in Destiny, and I liked that. In fact, exploring Tharsis even before the attack, I really liked. It was just like just felt so alive. So yeah, Tharsis and that moment after the attack, both of those bits were another highlights. I just loved exploring the area and just seeing how alive it felt and how much it wasn't after the attack. So that was honestly my main concern going in. I was afraid that this is going to be too much like Star Wars and not like Destiny. And honestly, I was proven wrong. And there is a lot of Star Wars stuff, and I mean a lot. Not just from, all the stuff we've seen already, from like the weapons, the sound effects and everything. Even the worlds we go to have like heavily inspired stuff from Star Wars. Mars has like Jabba's palace and his sail barge, the Sarlacc pit. Venus has Yoda's hut, which I wasn't expecting, so that was a bit of a chuckle when I first saw that when I loaded in. Europa is obviously like Hoth and everything. And towards the final mission, we go back to Venus, except it's a different part of Venus, because I guess it's now like the forest moon of Endor with the shield generator and everything. Like, yeah, there's a lot of Star Wars stuff in here. It can be too distracting for some people. It was to the point towards the end when I was like sick of saying, oh, I recognize that. But you know, this is the Star Wars expansion, so what do you expect? So, I mean, it wasn't that much. It was just a little bit of an annoyance just towards the end, though, to be honest. They do have their own version of the trench run as well, so of course, but again, you know, they did it in their own way, so it's a bit unique and whatnot. So I was pleasantly surprised by it, but I was just like, I kind of saw it coming, you know what I mean? But like I said, it's just those like nitpicky stuff, really. It was only just little nitpicky stuff that got to me towards the end of the expansion. So yeah, I thought that Renegades actually was quite good. The story was good. Characters, I don't think I had a problem with any character in this. I think Blue may have gotten a little bit annoying to me at times, just at times though. But like, I kind of agree because, like, I mean, it's just part of her ghost's charm because like she's Drifter's ghost, and you know that's just the way that they should be. But nothing really annoyed me in this from the characters wise. Dredgen Bell was obviously the highlight for me. I mean, his VA was so good. I thought it was a very interesting character, especially when I was wondering like how he could do this as a guardian, but then it is revealed towards the end that he's not a guardian. He's just a dude, which I thought was quite funny. Just some random dude, but I'm sure he's got very big lore implications, but I'm not a very huge Destiny lore nerd, so I wasn't sure like the background of it. But it was just like, but he managed to still pull off everything that happened in Renegades, just being a normal person. So I thought that was quite cool as well. So and like just you see, I under sort of sympathize and get his motivations towards the end when he's just realized he's being used by the Nine, especially Six and everything. So it's just start to feel so sorry for him. Like he's very much like Kylo Ren. I really picked up that vibe a lot during the story because just like I feel even like the way he speaks and it's just enraged a lot and it's just doesn't know his place yet and it's just like yeah, very much feels like Kylo Ren. He is Kylo Ren basically. I feel like, but Kylo Ren was good. So yeah, I think the story was good, even though most of it is just basically like a New Hope. It's just, but it is Destiny's version, which I really like the stuff that they spun around. So gameplay wise, I mean, it's Destiny 2, so if you enjoy looting shooters, then it's just more of the same. Not much changes shooting wise. Obviously we have all the Star Wars guns and the overheating blasters and everything, so it's fun to use the lightsaber. Yes, I have used the lightsaber because like the exotic mission you get it from is actually in the campaign, which I thought was a neat change. I wasn't expecting that actually, so that's cool. And nice to actually use the saber in the story, so that's something I've really liked. And yeah, the saber is so much fun to use, of course it is. So gameplay wise, I mean, it is Destiny 2 and I enjoy Destiny 2. So yeah, the only major thing is probably just going to be like the new mission types that take up the majority of Renegades. Lawless Frontier basically, like you do missions to help you progress the story and then extract. It's basically like, all the extraction shooters which have been coming out lately, like Helldivers and Arc Raiders. So if you enjoy those, then you'll probably enjoy Lawless Frontier. It does take up the majority of the campaign, so a little bit towards the end I was getting a bit fatigued, especially because we were still good, because like the maps of the Lawless Frontier, I'm not sure if there's multiple maps for each planet, but like towards the end of the campaign we were still running through the same maps. They are large maps and you do go to different areas, but like towards the end I was like, oh, we're running through this bit again. So but I know that the expansions are smaller, we're not going to be expecting much. I just wasn't sure if it was the same map or not. It just felt too familiar, like running through the same base or something like that, for example, or whatever. But again, I know that these expansions are smaller, and that is probably just the case where it's just one map per planet. So I just sort of wish that they had more resources and time and stuff, but we obviously know the whole situation's been going on. So I felt like that this expansion just like could have been great, and if it had more time to it and more resources to it, or maybe if they just stayed to one expansion. If we had one expansion a year and we got this one and just had some more resources and time from Edge of Fate put into this, I think it could have been like a great expansion. But still, Renegades is good, and I still think you guys should pick it up regardless. If the only reason I wouldn't say to not pick it up is if you really don't like Star Wars. which I'll be surprised if they're. Well, I mean, it could happen, but like, I mean the original Star Wars, because this is heavily inspired by the original films. So if you don't like Star Wars, then this probably isn't for you, because like this thing is filled with Star Wars stuff. So you won't go past 2 minutes without saying, "Oh, that's from Star Wars," basically. So yeah, it's filled with it. So if you don't like Star Wars and anything from Star Wars, then this expansion is definitely not for you. But otherwise, I still think that this was a good expansion. It does fit quite well into Destiny's world, which is the main thing I wanted from it. It's not Star Wars, it is still Destiny 2. It's just heavily inspired by Star Wars, but it still feels like it fits in the world and the lore and everything else, I think. So at least from what I've played, it fits. So that's what I wanted the most from this expansion, and I got it, and I enjoyed it for what it was. So yeah, I had fun with this expansion. And I'm going to wrap this video up here. So yeah, let me know what you guys think of Renegades. Do you like it? Do you hate it? Do you think it's too much like Star Wars? Do you think that they should keep going in this direction with other properties, as long as it's handled well like this? Let me know in the comments down below, I'm curious. But yeah, thank you all for watching, and may the Force be with you. Goodbye. Interested in more videos like this one? Then check out the content on the left, here, and thank you for watching this video. If you really enjoyed it, then click on subscribe, and I shall see you in the next one.